Hello students, today we will start a new chapter. Before starting the new chapter, we will talk about the electronic devices. Electronic devices is based on the principle of a flow of electrons in a conductor. Okay students, before starting the chapter, firstly we will focus on a syllabus of a semiconductor according to the 24 and 25. Okay, there are the topics which we covered in this chapter. First one is the energy band in conductors. Next one, semiconductors and insulators. There one is the one thing is write up qualitative ideas only, just okay, focus not on a derivation, just focus on a concept. And types of semiconductor: intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor, p type and n type, pn junction semiconductor diode, IV characteristics in forward and reverse basis, applications of junction diode as a rectifier. Okay, only these topics, okay, we will cover in this chapter. Hello students, today we will start a new chapter. Before starting a new chapter, I will talk about electronic devices. Okay, electronic devices, if I talk about electronic devices, so we use the electronic devices is based on a controlled flow of electrons. Means the motion, electronic devices क्या है, हम मोशन को कंट्रोल करते हैं इलेक्ट्रॉन्स की. ओके, according to the requirement. So if I talk about before 1948, electronic devices made by a vacuum tubes. So now, okay, vacuum tubes, if I talk about a vacuum tubes, not focus on a deeply concept of a vacuum tube, just okay, the basic knowledge of a vacuum tubes like a diode. Okay, vacuum tubes. Sir, topic delete करियो, सारा बंद करियो. अपन hello students, today we will talk about a new chapter. Before starting the new chapter, I will talk about electronic devices. If I talk about electronic devices, so mainly we use the electronic devices are based on the controlled flow of electrons. And before 1948, okay, before 1948, electronic devices are made up of vacuum tubes. So if I talk about vacuum tubes, not a deeply study of a vacuum tubes, just to focus the basic knowledge of a vacuum tubes like a diode. Okay, like a diode and triode and third one is the tetrode and fifth one is the pentoid. Pentoid. So in a diode there are the two balls. Okay, in diode there are the two balls. First one is the anode and second one is the cathode. In a triode there one is the one plate cathode and a single grid, and in a tetroid plate cathode and two grids. In pentoid single plate cathode and three grids. In these vacuum tubes, the electrons flow only a single direction. एक ही directions में इसमें क्या थे, electrons flow हो रहे थे. This one is the also a limitation of a vacuum tubes. Other, if I talk about the other limitations, so then it consume a more power, high voltage, and shortage of a life. Okay, these are the limitations of a vacuum tube. And in 1930. When the semiconductors are discovered, it replaced the vacuum tubes. Now, okay, our today topic is a semiconductor, how it works, what are the types of semiconductor. Before starting the semiconductor, we will just overview of a syllabus of a semiconductor according to the CBSE. Okay, students, first topic is the classification of materials. First one is the conductors, insulators, and third one is the semiconductor. We are familiar in our earlier classes, in our 6th, 7th, 8th grade, conductors and insulator. You know about very well कि what is a conductor, what is a insulator. Conductors के बारे में बात की जाए तो it allows the current passing through them. The material which allow the current passing through them, this one is the conductor, and which do not allow the current passing through them, it is the insulator. Okay, but if I talk about a semiconductor, it is a twist. Okay, we will talk about next when we introduce the semiconductor. Just on the spot आपने ये याद रखना है कि it is a according to the requirement, okay, we will produce a current, okay, in a semiconductor. And now two things are here, conductivity and resistivity. Okay, for the classification of materials, okay, we will depend upon a conductivity and resistivity. If I talk about a conductor, it is a high conductivity and low resistivity. How much? 10 raised power 2 to 10 raised power 8 Simon meter. This one is the sign of a Simon. It is a unit of a conductivity. And if I talk about a low resistivity of a conductor, 10 raised power minus 2 to 10 raised power minus 8 ohm meter. It is the unit of a resistivity. And now next thing is the insulator. Okay, high resistivity and low conductivity. What is the value of a conductivity? Less than the 10 raised power minus 8 Simon meter, and resistivity more than the 10 raised power 8 ohm meter. And if I talk about the semiconductor, the moderate resistivity and conductivity means we can say in between the conductors and insulators. And conductivity value is 10 raised power minus 5 to 10 raised power 0, and resistivity 10 raised power 5 to 10 raised power 0. Okay, so if I talk about the examples of conductors, insulators and semiconductor, the best example of a conductor is the copper, and if I talk about the example of an insulator is the wood and plastic also. If I talk about a semiconductor, the best example of a semiconductor is a silicon. These are the key points. Okay, now we will explain one by one. First thing, in a semiconductor, sorry, not in a semiconductor, in current electricity, in 10th grade, okay, आपने ये किया हुआ है कि ओहम्स लॉ क्या है, okay, कि what is the Ohm's law? तो justly basic thing, it is according to the Ohm is a scientist, you know, who introduced the potential is directly proportional to current. When we remove the proportionality sign, so we take R is the constant, but where the R is the resistance. Okay, now if I talk about the graphically representation of the Ohm's law, means a voltage versus current, so it is a state graph, you can check from that. Okay, now if I talk about in Ohm's law, okay, just a basic, the motion of charges, motion of electrons, then it create a current. Okay, but now in a semiconductor, we control the motion of a charges. आप मोशन को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स के मोशन को आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर अ न्यू डिवाइस. आप कोई इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस बना रहे हैं, ओके, उसमें आपको कितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है, कितना करंट चाहिए, कितना अप चाहिए, कितना डाउन चाहिए, ओके, वो आप किस डिवाइस में कर सकते हैं, वो सेमीकंडक्टर में. तो बेसिकली सेमीकंडक्टर क्या है? इन सेमीकंडक्टर वी कंट्रोल द फ्लो ऑफ चार्जेस अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर अ न्यू डिवाइस. तो अब सेमीकंडक्टर आपने कहां पे देखा है? इफ आई टॉक अबाउट अ मोबाइल फोन्स, ओके, इसमें एक चिप होती है. आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक, ओके, मोबाइल शॉप पे जाते हैं या आपके घर पे एलईडी स्मार्ट बोर्ड्स हैं, ओके, वहां पे आपको, ओके, रिपेयर पर्सन आता है. इफ द एनीथिंग इज, ओके, वो नॉट वर्किंग, तो वो एक चिप निकालता है आपकी एलईडी से और मोबाइल फोन से, उस पर सोल्जरिंग करता है. वो जो चिप है वो सेमीकंडक्टर है. इज इट क्लियर? इन अ डेली लाइफ सेमीकंडक्टर क्या है, मे बी आपको ये क्लियर हो चुका होगा. तो एज ए डेफिनेशन बेस्ड वी कैन से वी कंट्रोल द मोशन ऑफ चार्जेस अकॉर्डिंग टू द रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर द न्यू डिवाइस. ये मोबाइल फोन्स बने हैं, इसमें भी आपका सेमीकंडक्टर यूज हुआ है, एलईडीज बनी है, ये भी सेमीकंडक्टर के बेस्ड पे है. Now next thing is the silicon is a diamond crystal. Why we say कि silicon is a diamond crystal? So that's mean now we will discuss कि why we say okay it is a diamond crystal. So first thing is the atom key points are here: atomic number, electronic configuration, valency and tetravalent. In this concept we will focus on okay these topics and one diagram is here. Okay, basically when you observe the diagram, so then you can check okay it is a like a diamond structure. Okay, now focus. First thing is the what is the atomic number of a silicon. Atomic number क्या है सिलिकॉन का? 14. क्या है? 14. In chemistry you had already okay learned about atomic numbers in 9th grade, okay, and 10th grade. We had already discussed about these things. Ki what is the atomic number of a silicon, aluminium, copper, calcium, etc. But in this semiconductor, we will talk only a silicon. The atomic structure of a atomic number of a silicon is the 14. And if I talk about the electronic configuration, so you know in a one shell, first shell 2 electrons are stay and second one 8. How many left? 4. This one is the electronic configuration of a silicon. So the valency of a silicon is a 4. Valency of a silicon of a 4 means in a silicon 4 electrons are free for the valency. Okay, वो electrons sharing और okay sharing करेंगे, gaining और losing होगी जहाँ पे. Okay, you know, okay, in chemistry we had already discussed these things. And we can say it is a tetravalent element. Why we can say? Because the valency is a 4. Now if according to this configuration, silicon have a 4 neighboring electrons. अब इस सिलिकॉन एलिमेंट की बात की जाएगी, इस सिलिकॉन की जाएगी. ओके, इस सिलिकॉन की कर रहे हैं हम. तो दिस वन ऑल्सो, दिस वन ऑल्सो, दिस वन ऑल्सो मीन्स देयर आर द 1 2 3